Hi, thanks for joining today. My name is Alan Yagjian. I'm an ergonomics specialist, and today we're going to talk about split and curved keyboards. What's the point of that design? How do they help? And what is right for me? So first of all, I'm going to share my screen today. We're going to talk about some of the different types of these keyboards that have that feature, the split or curve. And we're going to go from something really basic to really advanced. So I'm going to share my screen real quick here. The first keyboard here is actually going to be the Logitech K350 wireless keyboard. This particular keyboard is a curved keyboard with that sort of smiley face curvature to the keys, but they're still contiguous. This one has a palm support, as you can see. This one's by Logitech, but Microsoft makes something very similar. As you can see here, you can see that curvature going on the keyboard side. The accessory becomes more linear there, and that'll make more sense later on as I explain. But very similar. Sometimes these curved keyboards have keys that are not all the same size, but these two last models do. Okay, next you have the Microsoft Sculpt keyboard here. And this particular keyboard has an actual fixed split down the middle there. And there are many different types of fixed split keyboards. This particular one has the palm support. Not all the keys, if you look at them carefully, are the same size there, and that's part of their design. And this is Microsoft, and it's the Sculpt, and I'll explain all of these different types in a sec. But I'm just introducing the different types, very common types here. Next, you have something very similar, also by Microsoft. This one has the 10 key attached, it's wired. And it also has a split, full split, fixed split with different sized keys throughout. So they're not uniform. Next is a Goldtouch. This is their Go, which is their travel version of the V2. And this one actually has a ball in which the keyboard is kind of sawed in half there. So that split is kind of variable, as in you can increase this angle here in the front based on what your preference is, and I'll explain how to really adjust that properly in a sec. And then you have their travel version. There you can see the actual ball that it's the sort of socket that can open up this split, and it actually has like a handle for these types of keyboards where it locks in place. This one actually has some tenting, doesn't have a palm support, has the same uniform keys, a full split. And then over here, you have a much more advanced keyboard by Kinesis. This is actually one of the most advanced keyboards I know of. And this one has a natural split, a great split right down the middle here, but isn't sort of an angled split. It aligns both sides of the keys in line with your shoulders. And then over here you have a quite advanced one that has it's like they sawed a keyboard right in half, placed a tether in between both parts, and you could really angle each sides of the keyboard for each hand, basically wherever you like, or however much angle you'd like. And this piece that connects the two, sort of like the ball and socket of the Goldtouch V2 and the Go, that actually removes. So let's talk about what's best for you. Really trying to solve one type of deviation of the wrist here, and that is ulnar deviation. So ulnar deviation is basically this, and you don't have much range of motion there. So if you were to like say bye-bye to somebody, for example, and you were to go all the way this way, you can really see that you only have like, 45, not even 45 degrees there to actually turn your wrist that direction. So, and then also, needless to say, I mean, the muscles in your forearm and around the wrist they're not that big. So they can wear out and get tired after 8 hours of computer work. So it's really important to keep a neutral or straight wrist. And in order to do that, you really want to have the right kind of tool. And there's two kinds of typists out there. The first one is the type of typist that will float their wrists. And so if you like grew up playing the piano, for example, or maybe you're old enough to have a typewriter as a kid, or you took typing lessons, or maybe you're just an amazing typist, right? So all these things can make you more likely to float your wrists. And what I mean by float your wrist is that you don't rest your wrists in front of the keyboard on that pad or on the desk in front of the keyboard as you're typing. It's okay. I'm not talking about if you're resting and then you pick your wrist up as you start crunching the letters or numbers. I'm talking about if you're actually planting your palm while you're typing. And so the idea here is that you want to have the keyboard encourage that neutral posture if you are the type that rests your hands in front of the keyboard. Okay. And the reason is if you're planting and pivoting from that point, you're causing that deviation there. If you're floating, you're more likely to auto-correct. And the thing about ergonomics is you're not paying attention to what you're doing while you're doing it, right? You're worried about your work. And so the idea here is to reduce ulnar deviation. So basically it really depends on how wide your shoulders are. It depends if you're resting your elbows on armrests. It really depends on if you're obese, right? Or if you just, if that's popping your elbows out wide. And that's what studies show. Obese people generally have more ulnar deviation when they're typing. Yeah, I didn't just make that up. So ideally, you want to get a keyboard that aligns the keys perpendicular to the line between the bony process of your elbow, right? Elbow should be underneath shoulders, and that middle knuckle, right? So you draw that line, and then those keys should be perpendicular there, right? Let me just show you real quick. I have the most advanced one. I'm not promoting any kind of type of product, but just using this to show. I have my keyboard here. What I've done is, I've aligned it until the line between my elbows and my middle knuckle is perpendicular to the line of these keys. Okay? And that's the bottom line there. Okay, so that's really what it boils down to. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope this helps. Please put questions in the comments and subscribe to tune in for more. Bye now.